any length. This is about the same size as a hiking pole. You can use this very quickly to defend yourself any simple way. And a shorter 36-inch, more traditional walking stick, could be an Irish shillelagh, could be a brass, a brass ball on the end. Any traditional gentleman's hiking or walking stick that you might have or might want to pick up or make your own. I make these all the time for my clients. It's just a 36-inch dowel rod. I've already started to sand it. I'll sand it down. I'll soak this in oil for about 2 days. It'll become very heavy and strong, very sturdy. It's made out of oak. You can pick this up for less than $10 at a do-it-yourself shop, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, Lowe's, wherever you pick up your lumber. Make sure it's a hardwood though. Don't get poplar, don't get pine. Oak or stronger, and I'll show you how to use this one for self-defense. We're going to start with this one. This is based on the Japanese Joe staff, which is a little bit longer. Hey Garen, it's good to see you. You would carry this the same way you would a trekking pole or a hiking pole, so that there's a little bit that comes out of the thumb side of your hand, and the long side comes out of the pinky side of your hand. You would be walking with it. You would want to keep the stick between you and the threat. Anytime you have to defend yourself with a walking stick, always make sure that it's in front of you. If it's behind you, that's okay, because we're going to bring it to the front. But starting from this position, the basic idea is you get the hand up, give the verbal command, you're too close to me, get out of my face, back up. And then the first most explosive technique using your hiking stick or your walking stick for self-defense is just a thrusting motion using the side that's coming out of your thumb right into his face. Now it's harder for him to grab this side, so that gives you a lot of power. If he does grab this side, you put your hand on the other side and you snatch it up between his legs or up under his chin or into his hand, and then thrust it through his chest. Hey Alita, it's good to see you. So from this position, first technique, you're walking, you're minding your business. You have your hiking pole, your trekking pole, this longer length walking stick, just coming straight up, jabbing into soft tissue through the center line of his body. If he's really tall, you're going for the groin, going between the belly button and the privates into that thin fascia of muscle that holds his guts in. Maybe it's into the solar plexus, take away his ability to breathe temporarily, permanently here through the throat if it's a threat to your life. Maybe he's got a knife, another kind of weapon, multiple attackers, you're not safe. Good morning, Michael, it's good to see you. So from this position, simply turning through your shoulders and hips, extending the arm, taking a little step, maximum force and power coming into his teeth, his nose, his eyes for self-defense. From here, you're gonna turn your hand, thumb straight down, which puts the long side up across the side of his head, into his neck, maybe into that hand. He pulls out his blade. He's coming at you like this, slashing, maybe trying to stab. You wanna smash that hand hard as you can. In this case, this was made out of hickory. This is the Cane Master self-defense cane, or self-defense walking stick. I'll put a link in the description below, but I put a link for, I think it was Brazos. They also make great hiking poles and they're a lot more affordable. Put that in the link below. But you bring it from here, that's a punch to the face. Second technique, coming across with a swinging. This will come really fast. You can also bring it back the other side. So you hit him one, hit him two, throw it up into your other hand for self-defense. You can step in and thrust. It's a very powerful strike. He might try to grab hold of it, that's all right. Slide your hand down and bring your backhand through, creating maximum leverage. He won't be able to hold on to that as you bring your body weight into this strike, coming into his jaw, into his temple, into his neck for self-defense, creating maximum power because again, you're turning through your shoulders and hips. You need to take a step to gather more of your muscle, more of your power, and get him off of your stick. So from this position, we have thrust, we have the swings, we have throwing at the other hand, pushing here, sliding here, punching with the backhand, think of a chop to the side of his neck. Bring this through, you're gonna bring the backhand forward, just like a punch straight into his jaw, but then the backside of your walking stick is gonna crack him on the jaw, crack him in the temple, maybe hit that process of nerves in his neck, flush the blood out of his brain, falls to the ground like a sack of crap. That's what I was thinking. Big old sack of dog dude, right? He should not be trying to take from you your life, your dignity, your freedom. You're defending yourself. You have punching, you have the swings, you have the other front hand, two hands on, much more powerful. Thrusting this way, sliding the hand down, smashing down with his chopping motion, punching across, smashing into his face, his ribs, into his knee, maybe take out his knee, take out his leg, into his thigh, into his hips, with the backside stepping in, pushing with two hands in this split grip, smashing through his teeth, his nose, his eyes, backing him away from you, boxing his ears, smashing his legs, bring it down, straight down, horizontal strike on the top of his head, lifting the backside straight up. Notice how you're using your whole body to generate maximum force and pressure, power, using the lever, this long piece of hickory, whatever your walking stick is made out of, up under the legs or under his chin, or maybe it's smashing that hand that's holding the weapon that's coming at you. That's all from this position, the backhand. If it were in your front hand and you're walking, you could then point your thumb at the thread. See what that does? It puts it in your back hand. You point the thumb at the thread. Here's a sliding technique that comes from traditional martial arts using a weapon like this. This is also known as the Jo, J-O, in Okinawan or Japanese martial arts. It's very effective. Law enforcement used to carry it because it's such an effective piece of self-defense tool. Some law enforcement still carry it in Asia. So you put it in the back hand, you have this thrusting motion, either sliding all the way through or sliding just a little bit, turning your palm up, your other hand over, thrusting through the center of his body. Then that back hand coming forward, there's that big straight punch to his face, which forces it to come horizontally or diagonally into his body or vertically straight up under his legs, under his chin. Yeah, Gary says that's also a big pool hall move. Same concept, right? Just pushing here. The key is you want to be able to slide it front and back. You can also smash the guy who's behind you. You can hold it in this position, stepping forward, turning through your shoulders and hips, taking out his legs, taking out his knee, smashing, breaking his knee for self-defense. Pull it up, thrust this way, slide. There's that diagonal strike from before. It's just on the other side. That's that horizontal strike, pushing, boxing the ears, taking out the knees, down on top, up under the chin. It's just in a different hand. You can also switch from side to side. This is a good practice move. Allows you to fight. If it's here, it's in the front. If you switch positions or switch stance, it's here. Hit this guy here, hit this guy over here. You may have seen Morgan from The Walking Dead, that old show. I think they brought him back in a new series or whatever. But he always used what he called an Aikido staff. The Aikido staff is just the Jo. It's the shorter staff. And then I think in the TV show, he was doing some corny figure four American style karate stuff. That's not as effective, in my opinion, as an actual Jo staff, which would the Aikido, using it the way that I'm showing you how to use it now. But you do that with your hiking pole. Just super, super simple. Yeah, Garen says it's 6 foot staff. That's the Jo, or no, that's the Bo, B-O. It really, I guess, would depend on how tall you were. If you were 7 feet, a 6 foot staff might be a Jo to you. Yeah, you'll see 6 foot, 5 foot, 4 foot. Those are common heights. Traditionally, a Jo is 54 inches. This one's 54 inches and will traditionally come up to your armpit, right where it starts. But that's so that if you were holding it with a 90-degree bend in your arm, going for a hike in the woods, walking down the street in your neighborhood, you would have it in this position here. And that's how you would use it, sliding through different techniques. In the traditional way, there are blocks, there are strikes. And we don't have to get fancy. I don't want you to get fancy when you're learning how to defend yourself, especially from the beginning. Learn how to do simple, basic strike in the face, smack him across the side of his head, put it in 2 hands, smash him back. Use it almost like a rifle with the bayonet attached. And then, once you know how to defend yourself with simple stuff, then you can get fancy. Learn how to do all of the spinning techniques and all of the blocks and the fanciness. I teach blocking after I teach striking for self-defense. Blocking is great, but if you can hit him and you don't need to block, that's even better, in my opinion. So put this one up for a second and go to the shorter one. Now this is just a 36-inch, 1-inch in diameter dowel. I like, made out of oak. I like 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches, a little bit thicker, but that's because I have bigger hands. You might not have as big as hands, you might like it a little bit thinner. So this is 1 inch. This has not been soaked in oil yet. This is a dowel rod you get. When you get a dowel rod and you make your own homemade self-defense walking stick, you're gonna sand it with 80 grit. This is what I do. You can sand it with whatever grit you want. But I sand it, yeah, Alita says his favorite. I sand it with 80, then I go to 120, then I go to 220. 220 grit makes it super, super smooth and soft, allowing it to slide through your hands much better when you use it for self-defense. And this is known as the Okinawan or Japanese Hanbo. The Hanbo is a 36-inch walking stick. This could also be any gentleman's walking stick that you might have. The Irish shillelagh is usually about this length. This is used differently than the last stick, but there are a lot of similar moves. I'm gonna show you 3 ways to get it into the fight for self-defense. So if you're holding it like this, you're walking, you're minding your business, somebody's coming up to you aggressively, always get the other hand up, verbal command, get out of my face, back up, I'll defend myself. And then with a bend of your knees, you'll slide your hand down the front and you pick it up just like you would a sword or a collie stick or an eskrima stick. From this position, you have a simple thrust coming from your shoulder, smashing through the side of his face for self-defense. Here, and then the other side, and then coming up, and then the other side, and then through and back, cracking him on the top of his head for self-defense. Or maybe it's that hand that's holding the knife that he's trying to stab you or slash you with. The nice thing about the 1-inch diameter dowel is you can move it very quickly. You're gonna soak it in oil for 2 days. Butcher block oil is basically light mineral oil or food grade mineral oil, also known as cutting board oil. So it depends on if you call it a butcher block or cutting board, but that's what you soak it in. When these come to the hardware store or the do-it-yourself shop, they've come from a lumber yard where they've stuck it in a kiln and they sucked out the moisture so that it doesn't rot and it doesn't get bugs. You need to get the moisture back into it. You're not gonna get sap and water. You're gonna soak it in that mineral oil for 2 days. You're gonna pull it out and then you're gonna wipe it off with a rag. Then you're gonna take another clean rag and you're gonna rub it until you can feel the heat in your hand starting to burnish that oil and create a nice finish. Once that happens, and you'll feel it. I weighed this before. This one weighs, I think it was 17 ounces. We'll weigh it again after we oil it. From my experience, it will soak up at least another 10 to 12 ounces of oil, making it over a pound. Now it's a lot heavier. It hits a lot harder. It's more flexible without breaking. If I put all my force into here, brought up my knee, I'll break this one. After I soak it in oil for 2 days, it's more likely to give me a good bruise and I'm not gonna break it. So you wanna soak these for your self-defense tool. So you're holding it here, you slide down the front, put it in the fight. There's the thrust. Practice your angles down and up, your horizontal strikes and your vertical strike. Put it in the other hand, do the same thing. Remember this hand, that's so that he swings at you, you can catch your own head, put your helmet on, absorb the strike, come back through with your strikes and defend yourself while your hand is up as a shield to that side of your body, especially if he's got a weapon. Back from here, the second way to get into the fight, bending the knees, sliding your hand behind it. We went down the front first, now you're going down the back. You bring it up, it looks a lot like that last stick where you smash it right into his face. From here, you can bring it across, bring it back, bring it up. You can turn it down at an angle, coming across his face this way, bringing it back at an angle that way. You can jab straight here. You can jab uppercut under his chin. You can smash into his temple. You can smash and then turn and hit him that way. Thank you, Alita, for that super sticker, that super chat. Really appreciate that. You can throw it into the front hand and get 2 hands on it. He grabs that stick. Remember, he's down here holding on to it. You're going to slide your hand a little bit if you can. Unless his hand's there, then don't worry about it. Just do it anyway. And push that backside, cracking him right into the face. Let that hard piece of wood rake into his eyes, into his nose for self-defense. Forcing him off, bringing the backhand through, smashing in with two hands, boxing his ears, smashing into his legs, bring it up under his chin or into his groin, down, straight down on the top of his face. And again, there's your turn where you just put it so the other side is facing forward. You can also use it, don't bring your hands together. It's not a baseball bat. It's not a golf club. Always keep your hands apart so when you strike, you can stop the strike. Stop it after you went through his face for self-defense. Don't stop it here, but striking through, sliding, springing through. See, you're just changing where the long side of the stick is so that you can maintain that distance. It's one of the best things about fighting with sticks, walking sticks for self-defense, is that you have reach advantage. He's got a blade, you've got a big piece of oak or hickory to defend yourself with. You can hit him before he can get in and slash you and stab you to death for self-defense, God forbid, right? But this is reality. The other way to use it, sliding down the front, put it in the front hand, two-handed weapon. Sliding down the back, bringing it up, two-handed weapon. So you want to get in the habit of practicing before you need it. Practice both hands evenly so that you know how to defend yourself with your walking stick. And the last way, you might just be carrying it like this. So instead of, and I see this is the way I see it the most in my neighborhood. I've said this many times, there are two older gentlemen who walk with sticks. One has an old riot baton from when he's a lifelong police officer, multiple departments, police chief even. But he has a beautiful hickory, extremely heavy. Gentleman's in his 70s, but he knows how to use it. Stick, he carries it for the dogs that might attack his dogs. That's happened to him. He said to me, and the owner of the dog that attacked his dogs, who he might have to then defend himself against if the owner allows his dog to maul his dog again. By the way, you've asked me recently about pit bulls, especially Italian pit bulls. There are multiple ways to get them off of somebody once they're already lashed down and mauling them. If you go up and if they have a collar, you stand over them, kind of straddle them, put your hand in the collar, pull straight up so you start to pull the air and the blood out of their brain, and then twist to increase the pressure. If you can do that. Another way is to take your hand, if your hand is strong enough, come up under the bite, under the jaw, and squeeze and close that, again, to get them off of you. But what if they're coming at you? Hey, Adrish, it's good to see you, long time no see. They're coming at you, and you don't have those techniques, but you have your walking stick. You can stick the stick in its mouth and let them wrestle with the stick. I know it seems like an oversimplification, but it's really not. It uses what the dog does naturally, what they're trying to do, which is to bite onto something and rip it apart. Put your walking stick in his mouth, let him play stick until someone comes to get their dog out of there, or if it's a wild dog or whatever. If it's multiple dogs, that's not going to be as effective. You might have to swing your stick a little bit. Also, think about pepper spray, carrying pepper spray, pepper gel, and then you're just going for eyes and nose and the mouth a little bit. Don't worry about the mouth as much. But if you can get it in his nose and his eyes, and it's 2 or 3 dogs getting ready to try to maul you, spray them up as well as you can. All right, I wanted to put that in there because that's one of the most common questions I get is, what about these vicious dogs? Because dog attacks continue to rise, and I see them everywhere around here. There was another mauling recently where a young person lost his life to the dog. All right, so you're carrying it this way. From this position, you can get it into the self-defense fight by turning your palm up. There are those basic strikes that we did before, right, thrusts, or turn your palm down, and then you have it here, you can smash, thrust here. See how I slid my hand? Slide your hand, bring it up, bring it down, smash through, box the ears, take out the knees, wham, let go, and crack them. Yeah, Thomas says, hush puppy. All right, so those are basic stick fighting techniques that you would use with either a homemade walking stick, an Irish shillelagh, a nice gentleman's stick, gentlewoman's stick. And then we talked about the longer stick. Kind of different techniques, a lot of the same techniques, but this would be your Jo staff in martial arts. This would be the Hanbo, the short one. This would also be known as a hiking pole, trekking pole. This would be known as a walking stick. This 36 inch, this one's 54. You might get 4 feet, you might get 5 feet. Just depends on, and then make your own. Do something like this, it's the best thing to do. Itchy to scratch in the UK. If you're in the UK, that might be your only choice. This also, this 36 inch walking stick is the same length as my self-defense cane, but also the same length as my self-defense umbrella. So you can use like a longer umbrella, same techniques that we went over. You can use your walking cane. The difference is on the walking cane, usually you have the crook on the end. That gives you about 10, 15 more techniques that you can do that you can't do with just a straight stick. But walking cane might not fit you, might not be your style. You might not need it, you might not want it. Maybe you use just a walking stick. You don't like the idea of a walking stick, use an umbrella. Umbrella is the same length. Learn how to fight with sticks, and you can find sticks everywhere. We have all of our beach gear right here in the garage because we live near the beach. And I have beach umbrellas, and I've got a whole collection of sticks. There's a lot of tools all over: mops, brooms, shovels, rakes, pitchforks. There's a lot of, just learn how to fight with a stick is the point. And then if you need it, you'll be able to, like in the movie with Eddie Murphy, Coming to America, and he unscrews the mop, the guy comes in with the shotgun, and hopefully you're not fighting a shotgun with a broom, but if you had no other choice, the techniques themselves are valid. You just have to learn how to fight with them. Practice, reach out to me if you want any more information or any more specific techniques. You have a specific question, what happens if he does this or that? Most common question, or other than the dog question, is what happens if he grabs it. Remember, if they grab your stick, always turn and push, or lift. Create leverage. You've got your hands on the stick already. You'll be a lot stronger than he is. Yeah, thanks, Alita. Thanks again for your super chat. Thank you for everybody for being here. Sorry for the camera angle, but I wanted you to see how you get your hand on the stick for the fight. So it's a little bit shorter.